that is the Gold Cup hero. Two of the most admirable chasers you could possibly wish to see.
Relentless, remorseless, and pounding Contender into submission.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Racehour podcast, brought to you with our friends at bookmakers.co.uk. It's me, Dean Ryan, in the towers at bookmakers.co.uk. I'm joined by Diarmuid Nolan. Demo.
Hello, Dino.
How are you?
All good, man.
Good. And Dave Weldon is back. Dave?
How are you?
Quick look now at the Ante-post market for the Gold Cup, which has taken a bit of a shake-up over Christmas. Boum Photo came out, won exactly the same race he did last year at Racehour. I saw a great tweet, actually. It's not often you see the Gold Cup favourite prep at Racehour, actually only 12 months ago. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Boum Photo is heading the market. Some places as short as 7-2 for the Gold Cup, and that's because some lines were kind of missed. Some performances weren't delivered from the ones around them. Candazoba is a big market mover into 8-1. Kenboy around 7-1 best price, and I thought it was a wholly adequate run in the Savills, and actually a good few behind in that Savills chase. We'll be thinking they haven't left anything behind, which is good, and they can definitely improve. Lost in Translation, one of the biggest negative movers of the Christmas period after his run, which needs some explaining. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board and see what they can do with that one. Santini, of course, we haven't seen Dermo, so steady Eddie around 10s. Delta Worker mover upwards around 10-1, and then my horse that I think is still value right now because of another eye-catching run in that Savills is Presenting Percy. After that, you're probably finding horses I can't make cases for, likes of previous winner Native River, Monolith, who we all worry about the trip, and then anything else that might step into this. Derm, I'll let you have first crack.
So Kenboy, you can explain it like simply as without the prep run, he just wasn't as good. It was the same thing last season, really, and everything else as well. He kind of tends to need his prep run, which is completely understandable, really, but there's still just that. For me, I'm not sure how much Cheltenham actually suits him, which is the biggest concern. Boum Photo, obviously, I loved him last season, was on him for a long time. He's probably short enough now. Better horses than him haven't been able to retain a Gold Cup, so it's the question mark is still there, but he looked none the worse at Racehour. And if everyone else around him keeps kind of falling apart like they are, he probably will end up the bet on the day. But the more that you rattle through this market, I mean, everyone seems to be quite excited about Presenting Percy. I really amn't. I don't think he looks the same horse that he was. I think that RSA was his peak, and I think afterwards they've kind of messed around with him so much now that I think he might have fallen out of the habit of kind of winning as well. He could well be a genius move, and he could bounce back in the day, but there's absolutely no way that I'd be backing him at 12-1 for a Gold Cup. And the more you look at the top of the market, like, I don't like Kenboy for a Gold Cup. I definitely don't like Candazoba for a Gold Cup. He's Silvino Conti 0.2. I don't like Lost in Translation for a Gold Cup, which I've already said. Delta Work, his jumping, he makes mistakes at the worst time. He could well win it, but you wouldn't want to be relying on him. Native River's too old. Monolith won't stay. So the ones that I'm looking at, obviously, is Santini, who I've been talking about perpetually now for a long time. He's a super horse. This test of a Gold Cup is built exactly for him. He's going to run in the Presbury Cup first of all, and then go to the Gold Cup. The less runs going into a Gold Cup, as has been proven the last few years, is the better. So he's had a lovely prep for this. Last time, wouldn't be worried about him. He's a big dope that takes a long time to get fit. But a Gold Cup, if you watch the RSA run, in which he had a terrible prep run, he nearly didn't run in that race because he'd missed a week of work. And the run in that RSA was outstanding. He just kind of, the way it tactically worked out for him, suited the winner and didn't suit him, in my opinion. He's only going to improve for that. He's a big lump of a horse who's not as slow as people make out that Santini is. He's not this big boat either. He was a horse that was good enough to win over 2 miles 5 over hurdles, beating Black Op, who's not a slow horse. And Santini was good enough to do that. This is a horse who, this test is perfect for him. He'll be able to lie up with the pace and kick late, and he'll stay all day. I think Santini at 10-1 is a whopping bet for this, and he's kind of is the forgotten horse in the market. And the other horse, Dean, at wild big odds, it's just because he was placed last year. I can see him being placed again. He's 50-1 in places with Betfair, etc. And Bristol de Mai is far too big as an each way bet at 50-1. So Santini at 10-1 is my idea for the winner of this race. But Bristol de Mai, for what he's achieved, the fact that the Gold Cup is his main target this season, I think there's no reason that horse should be 50-1.
Okay. I know you love Santini. We all know you love Santini, but you just said in your loving that he has had a brilliant prep. You hope he's going to have a brilliant prep.
Sorry.
Like that first run was bad.
It was bad, but it was, as I said, it's easily explained. He's a horse that takes a while to get fit. I mean, his first few runs of every season aren't outstanding. He's a big oaf that kind of does take a while to get going. And
the main takeaway for me with Santini is if he does go to that Presby Cup Cheltenham and wins, he could be favourite for this race.
Yes.
He could be favourite for this race.
Exactly.
And that's what you want when you're looking at an anti-post bet. Now, is this the target? Is he going to have a prep race that could completely change his price? He will.
Yeah.
And providing all well, he's going to turn up there.
It's the way Nico talks about him as well. Nico really lights up when he talks about Santini. He just really lights up.
Paddy, going to start you off with that Savills race, which Delta Wet won, Monolith was second. I thought in behind the likes of the new connections, I should say, of Ken Boy will be very happy with what they saw. And I thought Davy Russell, and this is the bit I wanted to pick you up on, I thought he was very quiet on Presenting Percy. He put him in the race, and when it kind of happened in front of him, I don't think he went hell out to win that race. I thought he got the perfect prep there. I don't know if we'll see him again, but if he was A1 and you remember what we saw in the RSA, Paddy, I'd like to know what you think about Presenting Percy for this year.
Yeah, he's I suppose he's a hard horse to weigh up, isn't he? Because, that was a massive run the time before. And obviously, over that trip the other day, they did ride him quiet. But look, I think it's more of a Pat Kelly thing, isn't it? They really like to keep their business their own, show their hand as little and as late as possible. But I don't know. I just thought he bombed out so badly in the Gold Cup last year, Presenting Percy. And I just thought it was similar sort of thing with this chap as well. There was whispers beforehand. We weren't really sure. He did turn up on the day, and, he never... He ran no sort of a race. So it's difficult. I think the thing is, connections being as they are, everybody's always going to be guessing. And therefore, you probably want a bit. I mean, there's bits of 12-1 still going about for him, but that's the sort of price you'd want for him, because there is risk attached.
Yeah.
But I didn't think he ran badly at all. But it was just, I would agree, Dino. It was as usual a little bit strange riding and hard to what sort of angle to come in at it from. But yeah, Ken Boy, I thought that was reasonable. He was a little bit keen and gassy. He looked like he was going to drop away for a while, but he's actually finished off and ran quite nicely in the end. I'd say connections were reasonably happy, to be fair. And he's pretty solid in the market as well. And I mean, I suppose there was question marks about the prep for Boum Photo, wasn't it? I mean, your Gold Cup winner having his prep at Tremor and then going straight to the festival. But, trainers are creatures of habit, aren't they? And, if something works, generally they do try and repeat it. And so that's what they've done again this time. And I mean, that performance in the Gold Cup last year was an absolute career best by Boum Photo, and he was very, very good. So he deserves to be at the head of the market. But I mean, look, lost in translation, you've got to completely put a line through the King George effort and hope that said they were going to tidy his wind up and that works. But he did bomb out very badly, and I was so disappointed with the way he fenced. He looked really, really outsourced the other day. The other horse, obviously, I can't desert Colin's other horse, Native River, but I don't even want them to mention a set of blinkers around this horse when they're near a stable. I don't even want to talk about blinkers. Because, even if they were to run him the next time before Cheltenham, I'd be happy if they didn't even run him in a blinker, because they've used them the first time, and because Might Bite crashed out early doors, it was like they'd wasted a bullet, really, having the blinker on. Because I do think a horse of his years, although he's been absolutely crying out for them, I want them on his head for as little time as possible to have as much effect as what you want. But, you know, I think if the blinkers have the effect again, what I think they'll have, I think although he is a year older now, he is definitely one of the ones that's more exposed. But I really do think the blinkers are a massive addition to this horse, because he hasn't gotten older without getting wiser, Native River. And for me, at round, I mean, there's still 20s about for Native River, and sort of should be. But I do think if the boys are as limited as possible as they can with the blinker, and just try and save them for the big day in March, I think he'll still have a big shout, this horse.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. If you had to have a bet today, that would be the one you go for then. Blinkers hopefully omitted next time they run, because they're bound to run once more, aren't they?
Exactly, yeah. Even, you know, the next day, if they wanted to go back to their old cheap pieces, and then just to save, you know, because that's a massive bullet that you could use on the day for a Gold Cup, especially for a horse like him, because, like I said, he's a clever old lad, and a set of blinkers in a big race like that could be a real massive addition.
Okay. Are we missing maybe giving Kim Bailey's horse a mention? You know, Vindication, who came in, won like a good handicap lot. Should, if they're all okay with Vindication, is he going to be okay? There wasn't any news, Demo, was he, about him being missing?
No. The only news you need to know about him really is that he's just not good enough to win a Gold Cup, isn't it?
Thank you. But, you know, I'm just trying to find something down the list that might run one more time and put his name on there. I wonder if that will run against Santini. I think that would be the race where they should go with the likes of Vindication. So if you wanted to pick an absolute fly up at 33s or 40s, there's one there. Okay, Dermo, if you had to have a bet right now, I don't need to ask you, do I? Santini and
an each way on Bristol de Mai.
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to stick with Presenting Percy, who I think looks like it's going to come to the boil again on the day, and I'd rather be on at 12s than 6-4 when everyone's on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but, you know, we'll find out. And I completely get the Native River angle. This race, when you look back at previous Gold Cups and you just look at the results, now forget what you thought at the time, and you see the result where you've got Manila Rocco, you've got Annabelle Fly, you've got horses like that, Bristol de Mai pitch up, and they're just absolute rock solid horses, and they do exactly what they do. There's going to be one of those in this year's Cheltenham Gold Cup that is second or third at 33-1.
Yeah.
You'll all go, well, that was obvious. I thought it was a Grand National horse.
Bristol de Mai last year, it's exactly.
Yeah. So there's no harm in finding those. Hopefully we've helped you out a little bit if you are getting involved with the Cheltenham Ante-post market for the Gold Cup. Now, thanks very much, Diarmuid Nolan, Paddy Aspel, and Alex on production. This is the Racehour podcast brought to you with bookmakers.co.uk. We'll be back next week, and Happy New Year to everyone listening in. Thanks very much.
You've been listening to The Race Hour, brought to you by bookmakers.co.uk, your best bet for tips, news and bookmaker reviews.